past like 15 days or so, I've gone on 3 polar plunges over at Provo Canyon. I found out about it from these guys on LinkedIn who do them weekly, and it's been so hype, and I've learned a lot. And this past, actually today, I did one by myself, like completely by myself, and that was just such a beautiful thing. I wanted to talk about three of the biggest things I've learned from this experience. One, acceptance. Two, it's a fantastic day starter. And three, just that the body's stronger than the mind will ever give it credit for. We dive into each one, and as always, I hope it is helpful for you. On this podcast, we talk about building your best life, preparing for opportunities coming up, and creating opportunities, and just being ready for them and learning from them. So, with that all said, so definitely fall if you're into that, and let's just jump right into it. Acceptance is an interesting thing to learn from a polar plunge because for me, like, there's times like we would do this polar plunge and it's like we're gonna be in there for a minimum of 5 minutes, and so we're like, okay, it's already gonna be 5 minutes, so we might as well make the most of it. We might as well like enjoy this and appreciate it as much as it can be enjoyed and appreciated. And it really gives me a lot of peace. Like something as simple as just freezing in a lake, that's something that you can choose to enjoy. There's different parts of it you can enjoy. Like today, I saw some ducks chilling out. I was like, look, ducks! It was super great. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and watch these ducks. And I was thinking about how like with ducks that they move really slowly, but their feet are always going super quickly under the water. And I was just thinking about that and just a beautiful thing to appreciate. And this is really important, like wherever you're at in your life, to completely accept and love yourself with where you're at. And this is something I really have struggled with, but I am making leaps and bounds with recently. Not everybody is willing to do a polar plunge at 7 in the morning, but I am, and that's something cool about me. That's something I like, something I don't plan on changing anytime soon. So it's like I'm going to appreciate that. And, like there's different timelines, there's different time limits for various things, and we can't really change a lot of those time limits. Like when I was running track, like it's 4 laps. Like you can't change that. With running a mile, it's always going to be 4 laps. And so you kind of have to just use the knowledge and the information that you have to your advantage as much as you possibly can. And like, yeah, I mean, when we were doing the polar plunges, we got to talk about different stuff. We talked about creating versus consuming. We talked about all kinds of different stuff, while we were in the cold, freezing. And yeah, so it was like 32 degrees one time, and then the water was really cold too. So it just really is like, wow, we get to choose how we respond to these things. The first time I was shivering a lot more. This last time I really wasn't shivering that much, and I was by myself, and I actually did it longer by myself. I was in there for almost a little over 7 minutes, whereas with the other guys, I did it for 5 or almost 6 with one of the other times. But you know, there's a lot in our control. I was able to meditate a little bit and just ponder and just kind of accept it and love it and appreciate it. I mean, the moment is a beautiful thing. Like literally you're in this moment and you'll never be in this exact moment again. And tonight you'll think a little bit about this moment you're having right now. But by then you'll be in that moment. So it's just so humbling to think that we get to choose how we react. We can choose to respond instead of react. We can choose to, use whatever happens and use it for our good. It's like the lemons into lemonade thing. So instead of being like, oh, these lemons are worthless, I'm going to let them rot, it's like, you know what, these lemons could be made into a lemonade, right? So the first thought is just loving the state that you're in, not this is another thing too, is not like forcing yourself to be in a different state. Just being okay with the state you're in. Like when we're cold, like that's okay. It's all right. We don't have to try to escape that state. Like it's like Near All's thing. All motivation is a desire to escape discomfort and to change your state. You don't want the video game. You want the change in state that will bring to you. You'll get excited, different stuff. That's what you want. You want to get those kills off, or you wanted the death streak, whatever you want. But you want the change in state that's going to come. I was thinking about chocolate. There's these really awesome brownies that I got a little bit ago from a church activity, and I kind of wanted to eat one because like I know it would make me really happy for a brief moment. And so it really just comes back to the change of state. But being able to accept the state that you're in, and this is obviously like you know, when you're in an undesirable state, just be like okay with it and choose it and change it when it's appropriate, and yeah, just be okay. You know, not force yourself to change, but just to accept it. You know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that instead of like jumping all over the place, be like, oh, I have to, you know, force my brain through all this stuff. I have to go on YouTube. I have to do all this other stuff just so I can feel okay. You know, just accepting where you're at. It's a beautiful thing. Accepting yourself. Yeah, secondly, it's like a day starter. Such a good day starter. Honestly, so amazing. You know, the first time I did the day plunge with them or the polar plunge with them, I did end up falling back asleep. But then the second one, I got some pretty good stuff done. And then today I've gotten some pretty good stuff done too, even though I did take a little nap. But it's just amazing like how we can choose how we start our day. You think of like fire starters, you have to have a really good fire starter. A lot of times that helps create a really, really good fire that's going to last. And it also makes me think of this thing I've been thinking about over and over again about how there's like the bottle, right? And you get to choose the priorities, what you put in that bottle first. So you could choose to put in sand first, but if you put in way too much sand, then you won't have many space, a lot of space for rocks and for other stuff. But if you put in the rocks first, you'll always have space for all the other stuff. You know, so like for example, if I was trying to play in a bunch of video games or something like that, then maybe I wouldn't have time to do a polar plunge. But if I get rid of the polar plunge, do that in the morning, then that is something that guaranteed to get done. Even though I'm not going to do a polar plunge in Provo Canyon every day because for one, that's really far away. That add up gas wise, but just doing things to set my day up for success. And this is something I've talked about before, something I've struggled with before, something I'm doing better with right now. Having something that you genuinely 100% look forward to. And this is kind of a hard thing to do. You know, having something you literally so do look forward to that you will wake up early for it. I do like the polar plunges. I enjoy those. There's different things that can motivate you and inspire you. So it's kind of this mixture of having a day starter that helps you wake up, that helps you enjoy your day and get off to it, but also is a pretty good start off and helps you just funnels into other good stuff. Like for me, getting way out of my comfort zone with the polar plunge early in the day helps me with not getting in my comfort zone with other stuff. Remembering like, wow, I was able to be in freezing cold water for 7 minutes early in the morning. You know, what else can I do? It's like that Encanto thing. Like the girl, she has been making perfect stuff her whole life, and then she's like, wait, you know, I can do other stuff too. It's okay to make mistakes. What else can I do? What else can I do? You know, and so that's really what you want with these day starters. I've done runs in the morning before. I've done polar plunges in the morning before. There's definitely other things I want to experiment with. I still need to do like the whole just write somewhere and just write for like 2 hours straight because I'm still trying to figure out what is the best thing for me, you know, so that's really important. But for now, the polar plunges are pretty good, and I'm probably going to keep it up, even though I might just do cold showers in the morning, like just a quick cold shower, just to sort of remind myself of that polar plunge experience, try to get a similar experience as that. And that I hope will be a super. I hope that'll continue to be a pretty good day starter for me. Then finally, that the body is stronger than the mind will ever give it credit for. It's 100% so true. I learned this in track. Like, you can really expose your brain and body to different things and it'll get used to it. You know, was expecting I was expecting the freezing cold today, and I was like excited for it. And I was like, "Look at me, cars! Like, look at me, dude! Some honk at me! I'm in this water, dude!" And I was like, "Look at me!" And I was just like waving my arms, and I was like just vibing. I was loving it. I was in there for like 7 minutes, man. It was crazy. It was awesome. I was waving at the ducks. It was a good time. But I've gotten used to it. I've built my way up to that. I couldn't have done that on the first try, especially by myself. I was honestly surprised I was able to do it by myself today. But that's going along with the body being stronger than you'll ever give it credit for. I mean, I've seen this so many times with like running track, with doing school too. You know, I'd push myself super hard my last couple of weeks of college. Like if I'd pushed myself that hard throughout the whole semester, who knows where we would be, you know? It's really just about planning and creating this expectation of reward and also creating this expectation of relief. So whenever I get out of a cold shower, whenever I get out of a polar plunge, there's this expectation of immense relief of A, the feeling of getting done, B, of being warm. Because whenever I get out of a cold shower, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to warm up. And I was literally shivering like the whole way home. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I was literally shivering on the way home. And I have an audio recording I did, just 100% proof. I was shivering on the way home. It was so great. But yeah, like the body is so powerful. We get to choose what we'll do with it. It's literally like the most amazing gift that God has given us. Like one of them is that we get to have these bodies that, you know, in Genesis 1:27, like we have bodies made in God's image, you know. So it really is so amazing. We get to do so many things with it. And I think a big thing with this, again, kind of goes back to the acceptance thing and also the day starter thing. Just starting with where you're at, accepting where you're at, and working towards it. Because you can build your body up to do some super amazing things. It's really easy to get, you know, habitualized into different things, but you don't have to live like that. I mean, you don't have to do that. Sure, your identity might be tied up in some different habits and stuff, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can change whenever you want. You can completely let that go. I mean, it's interesting because like somebody is working at a job for a long time, right? And then they get let go, and there's this sense of like, oh no, what do I do now? But they have their whole life. They can do whatever they want from that point. They get to choose. They don't have to live and be that thing anymore. That was a part of their identity, but that's not their whole identity. And they can choose what is their body going to be used for next. What are they going to do? Are they going to lift up super heavy pallets for hours? Are they going to come up with super complex business solutions? Are they going to try to be a chemist? You know, we can choose a lot of these things, and it's really a wonderful gift. And it's because I believe and I know God really does love us, and that he's put us on this earth because we have a lot to learn, and that we can learn so much and have a lot of joy here. And for me, like exposing myself to discomfort teaches me so much that the body is so much stronger than I'll ever give it credit for. So I really am trying to learn that and appreciate that and give myself some slack, but also push myself and provide that relief, reward, and those other things, because that really does help a lot. So that's it, man. We talked about acceptance, how polar plunges have been a really good day starter for me. Also, that the body is stronger than the mind will ever give it credit for. I'm excited to do more polar plunges. I don't know. I'm going to be in Alaska in the next month. I don't know if I'll be able to do one there. It would be so cold. Be so gnarly, though. I want to do it so bad. So lots of good stuff coming up, you know, and these polar plunges really do bring my happiness levels up, and I just look forward to them, and it's a beautiful thing, you know. So finding things that you look forward to is just, and then doing them, you know, is just a really wonderful gift. I mean, I have this Twitter tweet from a while ago. It says that hobbies are a gift that you continuously give yourself, and it's a beautiful thing when you're able to do that. And it really is. It really is. And it's a beautiful thing when you're able to accept where you are, to create day starters to help you move forward and get that fire ignited for the day. Good fire starter. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good analogy, having a really good fire starter for the day. Because some days we get out of the bed and then we just sort of slump into the day, and that's not a very good fire, and it seems like it really doesn't get anywhere. And when it does start getting really hot, we really don't have much time left. So getting the fire started at some point in the day, I think that's a really cool thought to think about. Reading books is good, writing's really good, but polar plunges, I really like those right now. Those are pretty fun. And the body is definitely stronger than the mind will ever give it credit for, 100%, 100%. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. Thank you so much for listening, and more episodes and interviews coming soon. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel for more clips, bonus clips, and things of that nature. And yeah, more stuff is in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to heal today, and it'll be a better tomorrow.